despite what everyone thinks, most of the killing actually happened. Well, there was some killing way long ago, but most of the killing happened actually between 1850 and 1940 or so. That's where the majority of the killing happened. The majority of the war happened between 1850 and like 1920 or 1940 or 50, 40, 45 or so. And basically stopped when we finally killed JFK and a bunch of other people. And then it stopped. So, but before that, and I tortured the shit out of JFK. But before that, there was just rampant killing and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, though, but I mean, Earth isn't alone. Earth isn't the only planet. Humanity isn't the most fearsome or destructive race, or even the race with the bigger stick. Nixon and John McCain, all of them were running around saying, "Have the bigger stick. That's what matters." You know, but you know, that's not what matters. And Earth doesn't have the biggest stick, nor are humans the most dangerous race out there. They're trying to make them the most dangerous, but I already had much more dangerous. It's like Germany trying to come up with a better fighter. I already had the Mosquito bomber, and I had the Vulcan jet. And so it's like, why would I need a bigger, better jet? Even the Flying Fortress, you know. The Flying Fortress was actually taken apart, and it took the United States like 2 or 5 years to disassemble it and try and figure out how it was made. And then to try and make some engines, and even then, they could only get up to like 12,000 feet at most. They were way behind Germany and Europe. Way, way, way behind. They just tried to carpet bomb through Africa. I think they gave the bombers to Africa and then tried to get them across or something like that. I didn't have a really big bomber fleet or anything else like that. Anyway, though, John McCain and Richard Nixon and JFK tried to do this thing, basically, and they killed a lot of people. Like, starting out when they were children, they started killing people or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. It's like a 2-generation thing, starting between 1950 and 1850 and 19 something or other. It was just bad. Anyway, though, I don't really care. I'm Lucifer. I'm 100 trillion years old, and basically all it amounted to is pretty much, like somebody with a gun, like, and basically they just shot their way through life, basically, and pretty much they would kill like 100 people in a town or 1,000 people in a town, and then, and then just move on. And it's like, you can't overwhelm police forces. I mean, it is possible if you use military tactics, and that's what they were doing. They were just using military tactics or this or that, or have a crowd and shoot someone in a crowd or shoot someone from a crowd. It's just basically, Richard Nixon, John McCain, and a bunch of other psychopaths just running around just shooting people, raping people, killing people. Between 1850 and 1940. Anyway, I got the person involved, they still got tortured, they got killed, they got taken out, and then they got dragged away, and then, like 5 million or 250 million people basically got the shit tortured out of them and killed. I found out that some other race, actually it was some other group or some other race was like, we're just going to take care of this for you. And they just dealt with it. And so, like I said, we're not the only race. I'm not the only life form out there. And some other planet or some other race, from someone that the Earth or John McCain or the White House was going to attack or had attacked, basically they traced it back to where the problem was and dealt with it the way they felt like dealing with it. Like I said, are one of the nicer ones. There are life forms out there that'll. We're not the only life forms out there. Earth is not the only planet. There are 400 that are basically aligned to me. Basically, I create 800 galaxies, and there are lots and lots of other life forms out there in the universe. And John McCain and everyone was just trying to do that. And realistically, it was just John McCain and Richard Nixon and a couple others just, partying it up, doing whatever they wanted, getting all these other people involved in this thing, and basically it was just causing confusion and everything else like that, and they thought they could just get away with it, and they couldn't. I mean, other life forms, other races can basically to the point where it's like, dook, 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 dook. I mean, computers did not start on Earth. Life did not start on Earth. So, I mean, other races are like, well, you're going to be a problem for us in 500 million years, so we're going to deal with you now. And that's the problem. Or whatever. I don't, it's not, I was just like, well, I was like, that, I was like, humans will deal with it. I mean, and even humans on the Earth. I mean, you have this thing to want to self-protect. And what Richard Nixon and John McCain and all them were doing wasn't self-protecting. That was just, well, I mean, they were the ones that were trying to do the whole, for your nation, and all this other stuff. And it wasn't for your nation. It was for the Republic and it was like Roosevelt was also another psychopath. Like China or Japan, like they were fully aware of the situation. They were finding out, they were doing investigations. And like I said, I started doing investigations a long time ago. So other people realize what to do and how to do it, and they know how I would do it, and they know what works, and they know how they would do it, and then, they're just picking apart and finding all these little problems. And it's like, well, these people are psychopaths. They'll basically walk into a house, say, gee, that's a nice house. Walk in there and shoot them. They first started with Germans, then they went on to English and Chinese, and it's just basically a path of destruction. I mean, they were just they started blaming the Germans, and then they blamed the Russians, and then they blamed everybody else. And it's like, well, it's actually the Yankees. So anyway, like I said, they made their bed. Like I said at one point, I said, you made your bed, sleep in it. Like you did this to yourself. They ran to me like, protect me, you're going to betray your own people. It's like, Rodney was like, you're going to betray your own people. Or somebody was like, oh, you're going to betray your own people. It's like, I did not betray my own people. Like, I'm just not going to protect the shit that is out there. They don't protect shit. They protect good, honest people. Germany was really good and really honest, and so was Britain. And even China was pretty damn honest. And they were good people that were honorable and respectful. And like Yankees and the United States, like I say, the United States is not really necessarily America anymore. America was my country. America was good and honest and pure and basically helped protect children, leave no man behind. That's what America is. My values, the same values that Germany had, the same values that all the other countries had when I was part of them. What the Yankees did and what 5 platoons did, or 3 different groups that were actually from Yale and Harvard. And basically they were just... Anyway, what they did is not on me, and I had nothing to do with. So, and things like John Oliver, which is actually John McCain tractors. He was a piece of shit that just kidnapped people and raped people and forced them to build tractors for him. And then he probably shot them and didn't even pay them. And then a bunch of his other military buddies were like, "Arr!" It's like, you don't work for me, you never did. You're from Yale or Harvard and you're a piece of shit. Now, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going down with that shit. I built the Titanic, I built the Lusitania. I'm Lucifer. I was a very good person, and I have done some things which I've made some mistakes, it's true, but I mean, everything I did was as best as I could possibly do it. And I was with Germany and Europe, and China and Japan. Those people. They're not Axis, they're allies. I was with Mexico. Mexico was on my side too, and England, and Ireland. Like, I've always supported them, and great things became because of it. So anyway.